All right, I will call good evening. I'm calling the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Once again, welcome everyone to our April 20th Board of Education meeting. At this time, I will have Mrs. DeLiva do the welcome safety message ground rules.
Good evening. In the event of an emergency, please exit the building using the doors at the front and rear of the auditorium. Please be reminded that smoking and the use of vape products are strictly prohibited on all school grounds. During the public comment portion of the meeting, each speaker will have 3 minutes with no sharing of minutes. When you approach the podium, please state your name and address for the record. Speakers will be asked to conclude once the 3 minutes have elapsed. To protect privacy, comments regarding specific students or staff members should be directed to the appropriate administrator and not raised publicly. All questions and comments should be addressed to the President of the Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to start with the appointment of the Superintendent of Schools. So I need a motion that be resolved that the Board of Education hereby appoints the individual named in confidential Schedule A as Superintendent of Schools effective July 1st, 2026. And be it further that the Board of Education hereby approves an employment agreement with the individual named in the confidential Schedule A for the period of July 1st through June 30th, 2029, pursuant to Section 1711 of the New York State Education Law, and authorizes the President of the Board of Education to execute said employment agreement on behalf of the Board of Education.
Motion.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you. The Board of Education has worked diligently with our superintendent search firm to select a qualified and capable candidate to serve as our new superintendent. This comprehensive process incorporated input from all stakeholders and led us to an accomplished educational administrator with extensive experience and enthusiasm who believed we will passionately support our district's values, opportunities, and success. Tonight, the board is pleased to introduce to you Dr. Patchogue-Medford. Dr. Harrigan will be sworn in as the new superintendent of the Patchogue-Medford School District in July. Dr. Harrigan most recently served as the Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction at the Oyster Bay East Norwich Central School District from 2024 to 2026. Dr. Harrigan was the Superintendent of the Half Hollow Hills Central School District from 2017 to 2024, previously holding the titles of Deputy Superintendent from 2013 to 2017 and Assistant Superintendent from 2005 to 2013. From 2002 to 2005, he was the Director of Special Education in the Farmingdale Public Schools, and he held several roles at the Mary Haven Center of Hope's School Age Program, including Principal and Director of Educational Services from 2001 to 2002. Dr. Harrigan served as an assistant principal in the Middle Place School District, where he also began working as a teacher in 1996. The board welcomes and introduces Dr. Patchogue-Medford.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure I've ever been introduced as the guy in confidential attachment A, but that's me. I'm Patchogue-Medford. It's really terrific to be here. So first, I want to thank by recognizing Lori Canetti. You all know her better than I do. I've only just got to know her recently. So aside from taking on the role as interim superintendent, I recognize that you've served 25 years in this community. So thank you so much. Thank you for your warm welcome, and thank you to really the entire administrative team who I'm just getting to know, but I thank you for all the help that you've already offered me. To the Board of Education, our board president, board vice president, and trustees, I think in our earliest conversations, we really started to click. And the thing that I thought was obvious to me, and this community probably already knows, is it's a governance team that really cares about kids, cares about the faculty, cares about our community. And I kind of sensed in them a mindset of not or. Kind of that idea of that we can do two things at once. We can recognize our past and our history and look forward and look to move to improve. So I think that's an excellent mindset. As is mentioned a little bit, I've got a 30-year career in education. Also grew up right on Long Island, not too far from here. Been married for almost 30 years. My wife is an elementary educator as well. Our 2 adult children, we're very proud of them. And as you mentioned, I had numerous positions as superintendent, deputy superintendent, principal, but really started my career as a teacher aide, as a one-to-one paraprofessional working with students with disabilities, and that was kind of the beginning of my path in education. And I don't think I've ever really forgotten that real connection with kids. Really just a little bit in terms of my guiding philosophy. Kind of the biggest thing for me is to meet students where they are, both academically, emotionally, socially, see where they are on that given day, and then provide opportunities for them to achieve, to pursue their passions, whether those are in academics, athletics, the arts. We want to make sure we provide all kinds of robust curricular and co-curricular activities for kids. I really look to our educational researchers, and probably one of the seminal research is John Hattie, and his biggest finding is that when teachers work together to know and evaluate their impact, the effect on student learning is significant. And another piece that's a big one for me is Helen Keller, who once wrote, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." So I think for me as superintendent, you're going to hear we and our much more than you're going to hear I and mine. That's a big piece that's important for our staff, it's important for our kids. And I think it's critical that our students are surrounded by trusted adults. I've just getting to know folks just this evening. And this was a pretty good kept secret, but not a completely well secret. So some people have been reaching out to me. So I'm definitely really excited to expand and learn more from more individuals here in Pat-Med. One of the things that is big that I'll talk to teachers about, to administrators about, is the idea of an instructional core. And that's the content that we're teaching kids, and making sure it's relevant and rich and challenging for all students, and enhancing and building the skill set of the teachers to deliver that content. I was really excited to learn just about 3 minutes ago that there's someone who really dedicates a large portion of their time to supporting our newest educators, our novice educators on that pathway to being master teachers. And then the last piece that connects with those two is how do we get our students engaged? How is that engagement process? And that's through how we treat them. It's through what opportunities are available to them. I spent a little bit of time at the front door, and I don't know if it was a plant, but every single student who was walking by stopped and said, good night, goodbye. So there was just a really nice vibe of students and that culture and kids wanting to be here, whether they were coming in for athletics or leaving after a long day of school. It's a big thing for me that kids are proud of their affiliation with the school. And I've seen, and you start to notice a lot of people with the PM and the logo and the gear and wanting to have that pride. And I think it's more than just the social. I think when kids and when parents and faculty and community feel that affiliation with the school, it also motivates kids to succeed. It makes them feel like they belong, and that's an important step. It really comes before achievement. And when I looked at the district, and I'm just going to read a little bit, something that's not new to you, but it's somewhat new to me. The mission of the Patchogue-Medford school community is to provide diverse pathways and varied enrichment opportunities that will lead to meaningful learning experiences for all students. And I truly believe this jives exactly with my credo, with my educational philosophy, and in the vision to inspire curiosity and confidence through creative learning opportunities and cultivate talent so that our student and staff can realize their unique potential. And I think it's critical, and I'll talk a little bit more in a minute, about how it's not just students who are cultivating and building their potential, but our staff as well, that we're putting our educators forward. So my goal will be to come up with mission-aligned refinements, not to come in and change what has made this a wonderful community, but look at what's there and how do we align next steps, things that are aligned to the mission and aligned to the vision. Thinking of goals over the next few months, for myself, I'll definitely be thinking about student achievement and providing opportunities for kids, whether that's advanced coursework or CTE coursework, whatever is going to help them meet their passions. I think we want to look at truly what college and career readiness looks like, thinking about how our students are going to be prepared for the workforce. So that's, I think, a critical component. In terms of social and emotional learning and mental health, I think it's critical first that we think about and realize that all students have mental health. It's not just something that exhibits when a student has a problem, that we're looking towards building that social, emotional, and behavioral health for all of our kids. In terms of staff excellence, like I said, it's critical that staff know their impact and that collectively that we know that impact on our kids. So I want us to continuously be talking about and thinking about, is what we're doing impacting kids positively? I'm definitely invested in the growth of educators and a lifelong learner myself. So us learning together, building those successes together will be a critical piece of what we do. Financial and organizational wellness. This is the time of year where it comes to the forefront, where school districts are talking about and thinking about finances and state aid and cost drivers. I recognize as superintendent, you're an instructional leader, but this is also a major operation. So looking very carefully at our funds and working alongside our business official and Board of Education. And then community engagement, for me, starts and ends with the students. So I'm big on developing opportunities for student leadership for kids. I'm also big on voice of students, as superintendent in my prior role, and I'd be looking to do it here as well. I'll meet multiple times a year and have lunch with students to hear their voice, to hear what they're experiencing. And when you do it for a few years and kids start to get more comfortable, you can really learn a lot as they progress through secondary school. And the same thing for parents. I think in order to build trust, there needs to be some built-in structures and action where parents have that access. So I'll be looking forward to meeting with parents, whether it's PTA, SEPTA, or just parents in the community, to have some set meetings, times, conversations throughout the year. It's something I'm a big fan of. We also want to reach out to the broader community to see how we can both support the community and have the community support us. In my experience, sometimes school districts, not PatMed, just school districts in general, can work in a silo, and then there's other things working around us. So reaching out and having strong community partnerships. And really for me, in closing, I see this role as much more than the policies and fiscal responsibilities. I really see it as stewardship. I really see it as this very solemn oath to really take care of our students, to work with our faculty, to support our community. So again, to the Board of Education, I thank you for this opportunity, for your trust, for your faith. I hope I don't let you down. Be rest assured I'm going to work really hard for you and for the community and alongside our faculty and staff. And it's really just terrific to be here. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Harrigan, and we look forward to working with you. Next, we're going to move on to the presentations and reports. So, Dr. Cohen.
I have to follow that. Congratulations and welcome to Dr. Harrigan. So once again, it is a privilege to recognize our employees of the month. Looking forward to celebrating their accomplishments. Thank you all for coming out to help recognize them. They will each be getting a Patchogue-Medford picnic blanket, a newly item to our collection, as well as a certificate of appreciation. So when I call your name, please come down to be recognized. The first person is Nathan Brinkman, Director of Music, Art, and Cultural Arts. Nate, you received numerous nominations from your department, an incredible reflection of the respect and admiration you have earned. During both the school musical and the Skamia Festival, you were right there alongside your team, constructing and rearranging sets, troubleshooting last-minute challenges, and instilling confidence in all those you lead. These efforts allowed your staff to take center stage and shine, and boy, did they. You exemplified servant leadership at its finest, leading by example with humility, dedication, and grace under pressure. The results speak for themselves. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. Right over here. Next up, Nancy Poulos, health teacher at the high school. Nancy, come on up. Nancy, we are extremely proud to recognize you as Employee of the Month. You were nominated by students, which may be the highest recognition of all. Your dedication both in the classroom and as Interact Club advisor has instilled in your students a lifelong thirst for learning and a deep sense of civic responsibility. Through your guidance, students have come to understand the profound importance of community service and giving back. Your direction and mentorship have left an undeniable, lasting impact, a true testament to your unwavering commitment, professionalism, and your passion for your craft. You don't just teach students, you shape them into engaged, compassionate individuals. Way to make a difference, Nancy. Congratulations. Just wait up there with Nate. And last but not least, Kerry McCabe. Kerry, come on up. Kerry, we are proud to recognize you for your outstanding dedication and tireless support to our school community, going well above and beyond your usual day-to-day obligations. You proactively stepped into classrooms to model and guide students in the use of Schoology, ensuring seamless preparation for remote work when it was needed. Your exceptional technology support empowered teachers and minimized disruptions by addressing potential glitches before they could arise. Through it all, you remained calm among everyone else's angst, which is a very important quality, and consistently brought a positive, encouraging attitude that instilled confidence. We're delighted to recognize your efforts. Congratulations. I invite Mrs. Canetti and the board to come join me in a picture with our Employees of the Month.
Congratulations once again, everyone. Next, we're going to move on to our ex officio student member, Ms. Charlotte Lake, for her report.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I want to discuss a little bit about some recent events in the school community as well as upcoming events to look forward to. This past Thursday, April 16th, was the Humanities Awards night here at the high school. It was a very meaningful night celebrating the hard work of high school students. Students were inducted into Quill and Scroll, an honor society for students who actively participate in activities like Raider TV or write articles for the school newspaper, The Red and Black. In addition to this, new members were inducted into the National English Honor Society for excellence in English language arts, as well as upholding the pillars of the society like service and responsibility. Lastly, many seniors were recognized for and awarded the Seal of Civic Excellence for completing service projects or specific credits, as well as writing a reflection on their project or time spent completing these requirements, ensuring that the student will leave the high school prepared to be a civically engaged member of their community. On Friday, April 17th, students in Mr. Carlson's Generation Citizen Civics class had the opportunity to attend St. Joseph's University 2026 Youth Summit. There, they broke into small groups to complete workshops with students from other school districts across Long Island and were able to share their service projects they spent the entirety of the first semester working towards. Civic students spoke to a group of panelists and expressed their ideas and ways to stimulate change within the community. This event was eye-opening, allowing all participants to hear different perspectives on topics such as community service, leadership, the environment, economics, and much more. Mr. Carlson's students, whose project focused on road safety, won an award, acknowledging them for their hard work and knowledge of the situation. This Friday, April 24th, will be the junior prom. The prom will be held at Majestic Gardens in Rocky Point from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. The theme is Dress to Impress, and students must find their own transportation to and from the venue. It'll be an amazing, fun-filled experience for all those that attend. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Next, we're going to move on to the bond borrowing presentation by Assistant Superintendent for Business and Operations, Mr. Frank Mazie.
Good evening. I just wanted to share some important information about the bond because it was about almost 2 years ago when we voted on this and the community came out and supported this initiative to put forth a bond which we hadn't seen in a great number of years. And I thought it was imperative to do so now to give the community and the board certainly an update as to where we are, but really focusing on the financial piece at this point because we've just gone through some significant events, and I wanted to share that out. So I have a brief presentation to go over with you. So just a quick overview, what the approved plan was, the projects themselves. It was for the state-of-the-art ventilation and climate control in our classrooms, in our cafeterias, and in our gymnasiums. That was the first piece of it. That was the overwhelming majority of the project. The next piece was the upgrades to our high school athletic facilities. And then the last was to transform our music and theater lighting and sound at all of our secondary schools. So that's what we put forth before the community. The estimated cost is roughly $85 million. We did share at the time that we, as a district, get back approximately 73% of aid on that. But we did share at the time, the big question that I got from the community members as I was going through this was, what would the tax impact be? You know, we're happy to support this, but we wanted to know what that would be. And the answer I gave people at the time was, I can't tell you exactly, but I can tell you what we think it might be. At the time, and the reason was because we didn't know what the interest rate would be. We didn't know how much we were going to have to borrow. We didn't know a lot of things, but we had to ask people to vote then for something that was happening in the future. And that's why I thought it was imperative to get together with everyone tonight. But one of the big things that we did talk about was that our annual debt was going to fall below the current debt levels in future years. And we said that that would happen around 28, 29. But the tax impact itself was going to occur in the forthcoming year that we're embedding on, which is the 26, 27 school year. And that's where I'm going to share some numbers with you. But some quick oversights. It's important to know as we go through this that when we talk about borrowing, is that it's based on when we get SED approvals for our projects. That's one of the big factors. We can't put forth anything until we have that, but once we do, then we embark upon the project, and then the next thing you see up there is the competitive bidding. Because we want to go out to bid on these particular projects, and we as a district have been very fortunate, based on our reputation, based on our excellent pay history, to procure a lot of advantages when it comes to our bidding. So that's one of the things that I'll talk about a little bit. But the first phase of this project is that we're going out to borrow is $21.7 million. And that was for all of the athletic upgrades, all of the theater, lighting and sound upgrades, and then the HVAC work that we're going to be doing in installments at the schools, but specifically at Bay, Eagle, and South Ocean. Now, the debt service schedule, which will be on the preceding slides, I'll go through more the more important figures, if you will, but it'll be important to note that when we do this borrowing, we purposely timed it so that we could start our borrowing in July, because that hits the next year, and we're only going to pay interest on that, and that's significant. The next year after that, we'll pay interest and principal, but what I wanted to do is minimize that impact for the taxpayer in terms of our borrowing, to let more of our debt fall off, our current debt, and then before we take on the new debt. But the interest rate we were able to secure was better than what we forecasted. Of course, we wanted to put something out there before the community that was reasonable. We were trying to, like I said, forecast what would be anticipated 2 years ahead of time, and we got back a very good interest rate. And a lot of that's due to our Moody's rating. We were on a call, we had a review with Moody's. They were very impressed with what we've done with our existing payments, and they look at everything. But we even started having conversations about where we're going in the future, because they saw that we're borrowing $85 million, but we're only looking for 21.7 at this point in time. And that was a very important conversation, because I'm setting the stage for next year. I'm hopeful that we might get a Moody's upgrade. While we can't count on it, the conversation was very favorable. Nonetheless, didn't change our Moody's rating, and we're going to show you some decent numbers now. So once again, a lot of numbers on the slide. I've highlighted the columns that I want to call your attention to. But that third column over where it says actual at the top, that's for the 2026 bond. That's that $21.7 million. That's what our new debt service schedule is going to look like. The two columns over, now we're forecasting, because now I've made some adjustments. When we first did this, we had no idea how much we were going to borrow in that first phase. We estimated 3 phases. We're still thinking it might be 3 phases. It could very well be 4 or maybe 5. Once again, it depends upon how we get these approvals in, and we borrow the money as we need it. The actual numbers are in that column. The other 2 are estimated, but we think the next phase could be roughly $30 million, and then the balance would be that $33.67 that you see in the last column. But what this really means now is our projected debt service schedule is actually less than what we talked about 2 years ago, for the reasons that I mentioned. But if you look at those last, the third to last and the second to last columns, if this had a pointer, I would do it, but no? Oh, I do have one. Let's go. So if you're looking here, you'll see now we're looking about $931,000 in terms of our projected debt for the 2027 year versus the $1.5 million that we were projecting at the time. That's a savings, that's, if you will, that's a difference of us. That's down over $600,000. That's really important for us. That's important for our community. That's why I wanted to share this information, because when we're down in the year that we were most concerned about with our overlap, this is the time to have it. So this is wonderful news for us to be able to go out with. You know, we're still thinking it's going to go down the next year, but once again, these are all based on forecast numbers. So I really just wanted to focus on that 1 year. But when we talk about it now in terms of what that tax impact is, I've revised a lot of the numbers you see on the slide. But if you will, I'm going to call your attention to this one that says column F. The numbers that we were talking about at the time, I'm going to go over to the next one, so 2651. That was the estimated tax impact per $1,000 of assessed valuation on your homes, okay? What we were saying at the time, for every $1,000 of your assessed valuation, there was going to be approximately $26 in terms of an impact. So if you had a home, let's just say at the average value for our communities, which is roughly $2,800, I'm going to round it up to $3,000 just for the sake of this conversation. You're looking at what? Almost $80 for the annual impact for your taxes to support this bond. And what we were saying at the time is it's going to be that 1 year hit. It would be lessened in the next year, and then it would start to dissipate after that. So what we're even looking to do now is change it from roughly $80 to $35, because that per 1,000 is coming down from $26.51 to $11.70. That's a big difference. That's a change of $14.81. So that's the number I really wanted to share, because that's what the community was really asking me, and 26 months later I can answer it. Better late than never. So what's next? So here's what the next year looks like. Right now we are continuing our planning for our submissions for the next set of schools that we want to do for our HVAC improvements. That would include Tremont, River, Medford, Barton, and Canaan. Excuse me. So we work on those design plans with our architects. We then send them up to SED for approval, and there's a long process involved with that, months. Sorry, I'm very choked up. This is very emotional for me. But while we're doing that, we are still continuing the construction work that is taking place right now, and we are set forth to do that. So in the summer of '26, we are going to be culminating our work on our athletic upgrades. That should be taking place this spring. Our lighting and sound upgrades should be finished this spring, if not the early parts of the summer, the last school being South Ocean. But that will all be done in time for the new school year. And the HVAC installations are going to take place this summer. As soon as the buildings are vacated, we're going to be in those classrooms, on those roofs, helping to do all those installations. But while that's taking place, that first phase I told you about, with our architectural design plans, getting our SED approvals, we're working on that towards the fall. In the fall, we're hopeful to be able to put up all of those projects. And once again, I have to stress it. It really depends upon us getting our SED approvals. And as long as we have that, then I'm going to go out to bid on as many of those schools that you see listed there. And the more that I can bid, the better the chance we have getting good results, the better chance we get better results, the more we can do with these monies. So that's the plan. We anticipate having our Moody's review for that next phase of borrowing next winter. At that point in time, we'll learn, like I said, if we maintain our AA3 bond rating or if we're going to be upgraded. That will determine everything in terms of our next phase of borrowing, and then we'll have our new, the next phase, if you will, of our debt service schedule. So the last thing I wanted to tell you in closing is, I know there's a lot of information I just gave you, a lot of numbers, but this presentation and all the updates on the bond are contained on our district website. If you click on the top right where it says capital improvements, there's a link dedicated to that. It'll open up these three windows. All you have to do is click on Bond 2024, and you'll see where we put the narrative updates, we put pictures, and all the presentations. So all the information is self-contained there, so you can access it at your leisure. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Are we back on track with South Ocean now? Because I'm noticing that that's included in the three here. I thought that we bumped South Ocean and went ahead with others.
No, South Ocean had the unit ventilators as part of the 2018 capital reserve, and all we needed to do there was install the cooling elements to those. So those are going to be mostly rooftop in design, but we're working on that. In fact, we've been doing a lot of the preliminary construction work on all three buildings, running the wires, some of the piping that needs to be done in anticipation of the vacation of the school for the summer recess, so that we can get in and just do the installation of the unit ventilators and with these new rooftop units.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
I wanted to thank you, Frank, for putting pictures of like where to find stuff on the website. It's really greatly appreciated.
You're welcome.
And thank you for all of your hard work. I know this was a lot of work to make this numbers work the way they did. Thank you for your work.
You know, it's top to bottom team effort. It's not me. I get to be the point person who gets to speak to you. Well, when I can speak, that is. But you know, like I said, I'm representing what a great team behind me is doing. I got to tell you, Lori Kennedy, for her first year in facilities, has dove in, and she has been there for everything and really quite knowledgeable in this, and has been so helpful to the process. But that's what it's all about. You know, we're doing it at all levels because we want to make sure we're hearing what the community says, and then try to effectuate a plan and bring it to, try to realize that plan. But we have a lot of good people that I work side by side with, and I'm very fortunate.
And this was a lot of years of building that Moody's rating and building this, so I'm so happy to have a team like we have.
You know what, the community gave us overwhelming support for this bond, and we owed them this. You know, we owed them an explanation. No one was asking me for it. I just felt like we needed to let them know what's happening, because you vote on it in 2024, and then 2 years later, hey, where are we with things? So we constantly are updating that website so they can see the progress that we're making. So it's nice with projects like this because it's tangible. But even just understanding that financial piece even just a little bit better, to know that, hey, it's better than what they thought it was going to be. I pray that I can say that again next year when I'm up here. If not, I'll have someone else do the presentation.
Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
I just wanted to say I had an opportunity to go to the high school, the new fields for youth lacrosse this weekend. And despite the terrible weather, the fields really look beautiful. And so many parents, even on the opposing team, I could hear commenting on all the new construction, how nice the bleachers look. So great job. Looks nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, everyone, for their time this evening.
Do it first before we... Yeah, okay. I just wanted to share that on the agenda, we are approving a new ex officio student member of the board policy. So we have created some changes to it as we were tasked by NYSBA, our governing organization, to make some changes, have a policy for it. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what it's going to entail moving forward. I'm not going to read the whole policy, though, so give me a second. Let me just look where I can summarize this quickly. Okay, so down here, just what the qualifications. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on one second. Okay, so requirements to be an ex officio student member is you have to have attended high school within the district for a minimum of 1 year prior to the selection, be an oncoming junior or senior. 1 junior and 1 senior will be selected, so now we're going to have 2. Be in good academic standing, maintain a satisfactory attendance record, and not reside in the same household as the other selected student member. The selection process will begin in March when ex officio student member application packets become available for pickup. Final selections will be made during the Board of Education's annual meeting in May. The applicants must submit the following materials: a letter of recommendation, 1 letter of recommendation from a non-relative adult who can speak to the applicant's character and qualifications. Could be a teacher, principal, employer, coach, or an instructor. Peer petitions, signed petitions with 10 signatures, each from students in grade 9, 10, and 11. And then applicants must submit one of the following: either a cover letter and a resume, an essay, a 500-word minimum, or a video submission, 2 minutes in length. And it gives you a little bit more about what each of those entail. So the selection process, the Vice President of the Board of Education will convey a committee consisting of at least 2 additional Board of Education members, 1 assistant superintendent, and the district clerk to conduct a blind review of all submitted applicants. And this is going to be open to all students that meet those requirements junior and senior. This committee will identify 2 prospective juniors and 2 prospective seniors to advance to the interview phase. The superintendent of schools will convene a separate committee composed of at least 3 Board of Education members, one teacher, one high school administrator, and the current senior ex officio student member. The committee will interview the 2 selected prospective juniors and 2 selected prospective seniors to determine the final recommendations. The selected students will be formally announced at the Board of Education's annual meeting in May. So that's the gist of it. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. And we're really excited to work with 2 students now instead of 1, and to really expand this position of student voice. That's the purpose of having a student ex officio member. So not only can you hear, from us as board members, but now we're really getting a student perspective on all the things we discuss at the table. So thank you.
I'd like to add, we were also very intentional about the criteria, that we don't want just the highest achieving students to think that, like, we want a wide variety of students. You don't have to be top 10. You don't have to be the highest GPA. If you have an interest in leadership or an interest in serving on the board, you should submit your paperwork.
Just going to add, we have gone to a lot of conferences and we've met a lot of districts that are new to this process. Fortunately, Pat-Med, we've had a sitting board member, so we were way ahead of the curve. So we took a lot of what we've learned so that we could tweak it to what we see as best practices and customs with other districts. And we really found having a junior and a senior so they can collaborate and work together, and then one leaves, it's not a brand new position and they could learn from the veteran person. So we're really excited to have that dual role. They're very busy, clearly, as juniors and seniors in high school. So if there's 2 and one can't make it, they can tag team each other, and we're really looking forward to the opportunity to have 2.
Okay, so can I have thank you. Could I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Consent passes. There were no items removed from the consent agenda. There was no actions arising out of exec. The policy first reading, that the following policies will be circulated for first reading and be included on the May 18th Board of Education agenda, which is 5420 Student Health Services and 5420R Student Health Services Regulations. And due to the recommendation changes, these policies are being presented for a second reading. And then if no other changes are made, they will be presented at the May 18th meeting, which is 6164.7, Programs for English Language Learners, 6164.7R, Programs for English Learners Regulations, and 6165, Admissions of Non-English Language Learners. Next, we'll move on to the superintendent and the superintendent's reports.
Hi, good evening, everyone. First, I'm going to start by congratulating our employees of the month. Each of you I hold dear to my heart. Nancy, when I started at Oregon Middle School, you were there as a health teacher, and I feel you're just as energetic and spunky as you were when I first met you. So, and competitive. If there is a contest, Mrs. Poulos is enrolling her students and winning at least first place, if not second. So Mrs. Poulos, well-deserved. Your energy is infectious, and certainly I'm going to miss you. So congratulations. Nate, where are you, Nate? You're hiding. There you are. Nate, thank you so much for everything you do. Your concerts and your art shows are just spectacular, and your performances or musicals, second to none. Thank you for always entertaining my ideas. Every time I come to a concert or to homecoming, I'm like, Nate, maybe we should do this, and Nate runs away. But thank you, Nate, for entertaining some of my ideas. I greatly appreciate it. So kudos to Nate. And Carrie, thank you so much for all your assistance. Technology can be quite overwhelming with all of the new changes taking place, and your assistance in our classrooms and all your little tips that you send out to our teachers, so greatly appreciated. So thank you to all our employees of the month. So again, I'm going to start off by congratulating and welcoming Dr. Harrigan to the Patchogue-Medford School District. Dr. Harrigan and I have already had a chance to connect and chat, and I can tell firsthand his excitement and enthusiasm in his new role is very evident. As I shared with Dr. Harrigan personally, the students, staff, employees, and Board of Education in this district are the most dedicated, passionate, and compassionate group of individuals I've ever had the honor of working alongside. They're not just my colleagues, they're my family. So, Dr. Harrigan, you're not just stepping into a new job, you're being welcomed into something truly special. You're lucky to be leading this extraordinary team, and I have no doubt you'll treasure them just as much as I've done. I wish you nothing but the best in your new leadership role, and I look forward to spending time with you during the transition period. So congratulations to Dr. Harrigan. And certainly, Charlotte, you stole my thunder. Congratulations to our Generation Citizen, the class, very impressive. You really outshined yourself and really represented Patchogue with a lot of pride. So congratulations to our students and also to Mr. Carlson. He is so dedicated to our class, and the achievement is a true testament of what people can accomplish when they're passionate about making a difference. So congratulations to all of our students and Mr. Carlson. So a lot of exciting times this year. We have a lot of evenings coming up in celebration honoring incredible achievements of our students, our staff. And this week, we had the privilege of hosting several Honor Society inductions already. So congratulations to our newest inductees, and celebrations are still to come over the next few weeks. We're also thrilled to announce that our spring concerts begin next week. There's so much to look forward to, and I'm honored to share these special end-of-the-year moments with our students, families, staff, and Board of Education. It's certainly a great season the next few months. I'd like to, our volunteer recognition night is scheduled for Tuesday, May 13th at 7:00 p.m. It's an event we look forward to every single year. This is an opportunity for us to honor the amazing volunteers who give their time and energy to our school district. Their dedication certainly makes a difference, and you deserve to be celebrated. If you haven't seen so yet, please take an opportunity to read the article in Newsday. I'd like to celebrate ourselves, Patchogue-Medford School District. If you noticed, there were 33 schools and 16 districts across Long Island that were flagged in the state's new accountability ratings. What you will notice is Patchogue-Medford was not on that list. So congratulations, we've officially been removed from the state's accountability list as a school and district in need of academic support. This does not happen by accident. It happens because of our dedicated teachers, principals, directors, and most importantly, our incredible students. Together, we are committed to work and have stayed focused on what matters. This is a proud moment for our entire community, and we are celebrating, but we know that we're not at the finish line. There's always work to be done, and we are still looking to close those achievement gaps and elevate our student performances in all academic areas. But I really wanted to congratulate everyone, because when I saw that article, wow, what an accomplishment. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you. Again, Trustee Andrade spoke about the new ex officio policy. I am going to be sending information out on behalf of the Board of Education through Parent Square and email tomorrow to all of our students our faculty and also parents. So that information will be going out tomorrow. And I also want to thank Mr. Mazie for the presentation, his team, and our maintenance and custodial staff. With all of these projects taking place throughout the district, it's a monumentous task. So I know he jokes when he's up at the podium, and we do love that. But really, it is a tremendous amount of work to have all of these projects taking place. And Frank, you're doing an amazing job. So thank you for all your support. I think that is all of my updates. Thank you to our Board of Education.
Okay, next we're going to move on to committee reports. So buildings and operations. Trustee Krieger.
We haven't met since our last board meeting. Our next meeting for buildings and operations is May 5th at 5 o'clock in the district office.
Okay, next we're moving on to finance. Trustee Gabon.
The Finance Committee had a joint meeting with Legislative that Trustee Smith is going to share a couple of notes from, and there is no meeting in May, so our next meeting will be in June.
Next, I'm sorry.
So I'll just talk about both of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
And then we can move on. And my thing got stuck. So we had a joint meeting on April 1st at Saxton Middle School with Legislative and Finance. We talked about pilots payments in lieu of taxes and what the impact is on the district, and how we can continue some advocacy work to try to help make more sense of that, and help it, because I know Mr. Mazie and we've been trying to get access and figure out how this whole system works. We're working on it. We're getting there. With new apartments coming in and pilots being granted, it can affect our budget. We had a conversation about requisitioning. We follow the general municipal law with approved vendors. So that, and we do, that's the business office. So if you want to talk about that a little bit, Mr. Mazie, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. The question came about from the committee to just kind of explain how we go about procuring goods and services for the district. And I was just explaining how we always follow genuine municipal law to make sure that we are prescribing to the state mandates. Many of the items that we do procure are on contracts. They might be state contracts. They could be piggybacking from county contracts, BOCES contracts. But we're always looking for the best price. They're vetted out by those organizations, and then we want to take full advantage of them as a district. Where we see it to our advantage, we want to certainly do competitive bidding. We will advertise for it because, as you heard me mention earlier, we've been the benefactor of that kind of bidding in the past, so we do it wherever we have the time and the means. And then the last piece, I believe, was the, I'm sorry, yes, the project, thank you, the project labor agreements, because that's a big push. Now, we have to make sure, like I said, that the contracted vendors that we utilize are subscribing to the Department of Labor laws. But we don't have to police them, but we have to monitor them, meaning we've got to make sure that they're supplying the correct paperwork. But there's a big push for them to go to PLAs. As it relates to the district, you know, we're just constantly keeping our eye on the impact it has on our dollars, because people have heard me say this more often than they care to admit, but you know, we're subject to CPI inflation with everything that we purchase. Yet our budget that we are putting out before the community can only stay within the tax cap. So it's really important, but when we see these things like PLAs come down the line, or other mandates that really are outside of our control, but they have a direct impact on us, it's very, you know, it's very important that we're not just following the law because it's a law, we're following because we need to stretch the dollars further to get as much as we can for the dollars that we have to make this district run. So that's really, that was the essence of it.
There was some discussion about the zero-emission buses. Good idea, but it's becoming a problem. There are two mandated timelines that we're talking about. In 2027, according to the current law, next year, all new purchases need to be zero emission. The conversation is around electric buses. I don't know if gas buses mean the same thing, like natural gas buses, if that's also a zero emission. Yeah. And then 2035, full fleet needs to be zero emission. We have a few buses, not a lot. We have a busing contract. So we did not put in a waiver because we're not in danger of meeting the 2027 deadline. There's a couple of waivers that you can be put in place, and they're timed. So Mr. Mazie is timing these waivers so that we can take full benefit of the 2-year waiver. Currently, we have 9 district buses. The new electric buses will cost between $300,000 and $400,000 each, versus $170,000 for a diesel bus. Bigger concern right now is vendors, which is a conversation for another time. We've gone to legislative events, and all of our local legislators are not in favor of maintaining the timeline as it is, but so far there's been no movement in Albany, and we're hoping that somebody makes a movement somewhere, because this is going to be very expensive. And that's about it. Our next meeting, we have one on May 7th. Did I miss anything? Good, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to district-wide technology.
District-wide technology has not met since our last board meeting. We will be meeting on May 14th at 4:30.
And we just got a text from Mr. Rifkoff, who I think might be out there in the audience.
There he is.
Yeah, okay. He just texted us to let us know that our technology plan was approved by the state. So that's very good news for us.
Progress.
Thank you. Next, we move on to extracurricular, in which we talked about making some signs, maybe more for athletics and really maybe the gym and auditoriums. We also talked about the separate art show. They're going to meet again because they didn't get to meet this time to go over putting it into motion, where it would take place, and to continuation on that. And then we talked about our pep band and a fight song, which the students are putting together. So hopefully we'll have that soon, and we'll kind of see what they came up with. And then we talked about our mascot costume, whether we should have 1 or 2, and then that would come out of the budget line of equipment. And then we're going to meet in June. And then next, move on to instructional and student support. Trustee Salazar.
Also, we have not met since our last board meeting. Our next meeting actually is this Thursday, April 23rd at 4:30 in South Ocean Conference Room.
Okay, thank you. Then move on to board discussion update, which is a farmer's fridge vending. So, Mrs. Kennedy, do? Sure.
So I have had the opportunity to meet over the last few months with the Wellness Committee, and one of the things we've spoke about bringing in is the possibility of another vending machine that really is to service our students for meals when they're here for long periods of time. So one of the things we invited in was a company called Farmer's Fridge. They are known throughout the country. Most recently, they've been in several school districts, and it does offer an option for our students. It is a vending machine that would sell wraps, salads, bowls, and it does give students the option of even pre-ordering them on an app. So if they're staying for athletics or musical or any extracurricular activity, the vending machines would be open after school or before the school day starts, where students can pick up food. There are gluten-free options, vegetarian option, vegan options. So it seems like it had a lot to offer our students. The costs for the meals I thought were pretty reasonable, considering what we spend on Chick-fil-A and Shake Shack. This is actually pretty cheap. It was, I think, $7.75 for an average meal, and if it had protein, which would be chicken, it was a little bit more expensive, but it was still about $13, which we thought was very reasonable. The vending machines, they come in at minimum twice a week to stock the machines, but they would come in more frequently if the meals sold out. It's also an opportunity for our staff here at the high school. They would have the opportunity to also purchase from the vending machines. They did speak to us about the shelf life. Nothing stays in the machine for more than 5 days, so they're constantly, coming and taking out expired food. And again, what's nice is for anyone who has allergies, families can go on, see all the products and see the ingredients in there. So it does give a lot of options. I could turn it over to Trustee Smith and Trustee Andrade. The one thing I will say is they offer different levels of service. This is no cost to the district unless we do not sell the minimum number of meals each week. So they come in, they put the vending machine in free of charge, and there's different levels that you could contract. If you do not make that, then you actually have to supplement the cost. The lowest level is $625 a week in sales. The nice part about this is it can be turned on and off. So when school is not in session, we can tell them not to deliver food, and we do not have to cover the cost of the meals that week. So I think it's a great opportunity. We are looking to see if the board, other trustees would be interested in us piloting it. We can bring it in as early as May and get a feel to see if our students and staff like it. And then from there, we can kind of decide what level would be most appropriate for our students. So did want to turn it over to the other trustees if they want to add to that.
Diana and I have been advocating for roughly a decade to get better food in the vending machines. And we're thrilled with this potential option. I think it's worth it to give it a trial. We're going to have people here all summer long. It's effective for the kids and for the faculty and staff. I think we're not going to have a problem at all selling $600 worth of healthy food out of a refrigerated vending machine. So I'd like to, do I make a motion?
Wait,
You want a conversation? We can talk about it.
I just wanted to add that we got to try at the Wellness Committee. They brought the food, and that it would be in the vendors, and it was really good. These machines are also in the airports, I think, so you might have seen them in the airports. The hospitals, yeah, it was really good, and I think for any of these kids staying after school, it's going to be really great for them. It won't be operating during cafeteria hours, so that's one thing that it won't be on. The machines will be off, so it really will be like for right before school starts and then after school. So I think I'm excited about it. I think it's worth trying. I know we might not get the most accurate reading because a lot of the sports have ended, but I still think that the kids will get a taste of it, the faculty will get a taste of the food, and I think it could be something that we might end up needing two vending machines, and who knows, we could, even if we go above and beyond, it could be something that generates revenue also.
One of the things we discussed potentially, which I guess is up to the department that will be handling the machines, is maybe have one machine that's available to faculty, and that could be all day long, and one machine that we have to shut down during cafeteria hours open, that would be available before and after. And as a child as a parent of 3 non-sports ball people, they would have used this a lot. But the sports ball kids are going to love this, I think.
Charlotte, do you want to chime in at all? What do you think?
I definitely think that this would be a good addition, especially with recent changes now that float site for homecoming is at the school. I think that would definitely be something good because I know students always would try to DoorDash or they would want to leave to go get food. So I think that having something like this would definitely be a good addition to our school.
Oh, I'm losing my mic. I know I'm hot. I'm looking out in the audience and I'm seeing my carpool moms. We have 4 moms that carpool to musicals and Glee. And we actually not only drop our kids here, but then drop them crappy food and take their McDonald's orders when they get their phones back at 3 and drop them back food. So this, I know my daughter, when she's here late at night with musicals and stuff, would really appreciate being able to get a Caesar salad, and us as well, who are here very late, kind of starving. So I think it's good for all the students that are here, and then we're giving them another option, so that's great. Because a lot of the kids don't eat during the day is the problem. They forego their lunch, and they're running all day, and they haven't eaten anything since they left home at 6:30 in the morning. So to get to 7, 8 o'clock at night is really not good for them.
Great, and I know I'm going to work with Mr. Mazie because it is part of, they're a third party to our current vendor canteen, so it's very easy for us to get it here. And again, if we're unhappy with it, they take it out. So you know, you're not locked into it if you just feel it's not for you. I do believe, if I remember correctly, they're in Sayville, they're in Smithtown. He indicated that they were going to be introducing it in West Islip, and I do think Smithtown has, and Ward Melville. So there are local districts that are actually in the process of bringing it in or have it, and they found some great success in their buildings as well. So good opportunity to really give students yet another choice so they don't have to leave school property to go get food.
If this works out in the high schools, is this something that we can then bring into the middle schools?
I think we just have to look, I think certainly you can bring it to the middle schools, but I do think we have to look at the activities after school because that's when it's going to generate its revenue. So at a middle school, 3 middle schools, the high school brings everyone together. So I think we would just have to make sure we're covering that $625 a week. And then if we are, then that's not a problem. It's when you fall short that it becomes a financial impact on the district.
I mean, maybe when we monitor the faculty usage as well, the faculty in the middle schools might make up for some of the times that we don't have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think we started at the high school and we can expand from there.
All right, next we're going to move on to public comment, which is limited to 3 minutes per person.
Good evening, Pam Peterson. I just want to piggyback on what you're saying right now because I think it's an incredible, great idea. I just have a few questions. Will there be fruit in there? Where will it be located? And how do the kids pay?
So we're looking to bring it close to the auditorium here. That's our initial thought, at least the first one. One, you can use an app, but you don't have to. If not, then the kids do use like a debit card. They could use that. So the app, some schools are using it, but he recommended maybe not starting with the app because if you order it, then you go to the vending machine and someone orders it before you, it looks like it's sold out. So I think for us, we're just getting a handle, but you can introduce an app where they can pre-order.
And will there be fruit in there too?
Fruit was an option in like a, you had the oats and, yeah, so.
And those
I was just wondering, like, before a game, sometimes like a banana.
Yeah, I
or,
don't think it was as much as it
even
was
pickles,
wraps and
like-
salads. Yeah. We can look. It was mostly salads and wraps. They did
Okay.
have, I had hummus with like pita chips. That was delicious. And they do have breakfast sandwiches as well. So
Okay.
that was also an option.
I just think it's a great idea, especially when the kids are here in
Mm-hmm.
between. It's a really good idea. Okay, so before I just wanted, because we didn't have the presentation comment part, so I'm going to try to get it all in. Congratulations to all of the educators and staff who won tonight, especially to my friend Nate, who puts up with us at our extracurricular meeting, and he's so kind and patient, and he's wonderful. Frank, the bond, like, that was such a great presentation, and I really feel we need to get that out there more. Going from 80 to 35 is huge. And just looking at the field outside and things that have been going on here, it's just so exciting. Every time I see like one more part of the stadium up or something else, it's just, it's so nice to see that all of the hard work that was done and passing the bond, like, you see it. It's not, 10 years and we're still waiting for it. Like, it's happening, and it looks phenomenal. And the idea about the two students, love that idea, and I love that we've been doing this for years, so we're in the forefront of that. And I would like to welcome you, and congratulations. We'll get to know each other. I'm very involved. Grew up here, involved in a lot of the committees, PTAs and things, so if there's anything you need, please let me know. But welcome. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, good evening. Sherry Costello. First, I'd like to welcome Dr. Harrigan. We're excited to have you, and we have a very prestigious group of people here who are quite involved. They put a lot of time and effort and energy, and I know you're going to get to know them very, very well. I thank you, Mrs. Canetti, for all you've done, taking over the spot, and Dr. Jones and some of the other people who've been able to help get our budget balanced and bring all of the important things that Mr. Mazie discussed. He's very humble, but he's really hardworking, and the team that he works with, they do amazing things, so thank you for that as well. One thing you mentioned, and I think it's really important as we come into budget season, when you talk about the $3,000 portion of the home assessed value, that's the school budget portion, right? Because most people hear that and they want to say, well, my house is assessed at much higher, so can you just speak to that a little bit?
Sure. So your school taxes are predicated on the assessed valuation that the town of Brookhaven assigns. There's a value that they assign for each different property and house. We use 3,000 just as an example because the average home for our communities is roughly 2,800. I don't know how they calculate these numbers. It's certainly not the value of your home, but this is what's called the assessed valuation by the town. And I do have that property tax tutorial. If you ever want to go there, you can click and find out where I can find my assessed valuation for my property and determine what your tax impact is for the budget. But I use that same framework when I put this into perspective so people understand how this could be impacting them specifically for the bond.
Also, I want to say that I took a brief tour of the facilities outside. I think they look amazing. I'm excited and hopeful that all of that will be in place for graduation this year. I have a question about our new ex officio system. Will the junior carry on for a second year? Is that how that was discussed? It was kind of stated that way, and I'm not sure. It's a one-year term, okay. Today, it's been a little frustrating for me as we still do not have Wi-Fi available to community when they come in here, as we're moving to a lot of paperless things, including our agenda for today. It's very difficult, so I'd like to again put out there if there's any way to help support that. Not only cellular signal, but if we could maybe do something that helps support us better with Wi-Fi, since we know cellular is something we're very limited with and are not able to get here. With regard to the new food, I'm excited about it. I have a couple questions. Does that company have a non-compete? If there are other companies that want to put in vending machines and those types of things, I realize we have to meet a minimum of 80 meals a week. That's what $625 would be, and I'm a little worried about that, but if we find that other companies are coming around, can we bring in other vending machines?
Mr. Mazie, I would turn it over to you, but at this point, we have to go through Cantina, which is our contract. So they are third party, so no one else could come in right now unless we did go out to bid. Is that correct, Mr. Mazie?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
And so Cantina, that's who does your cafeteria food as well?
No, this is
Okay.
just we have a
Outside
a bid
vending.
for our vending machines, which provide the beverages and snacks that we have now.
I am wondering if our current lunchtime vendor also could provide, kids could buy second wraps at lunch or go in and get those kinds of things and have that as well. Having healthier, good options available, and I haven't been in the high school here to see lunch in quite a while, but I know that from my own experience in schools, lunches, there should be a salad bar. I'm not sure if there is. There should be a wrap station. I'm not sure if there is. There should be opportunity for kids to get fruit and be able to buy bananas and apples and oranges and all of those things throughout the day to have. And with our contract with our current vendor for lunches, I wonder if students could access a lot of that stuff as well, in addition to upping what's available after hours from a Healthy Fresh company. But we talked about farm to table and all the things at the greenhouse in Tremont, and those places would be able to bring us. So finding ways to implement what we have as well on top of that would be great. So again, welcome to the community. Thank you so much. I really look forward to you bringing some of the vigor and the exceptional things that, our community is incredibly diverse. We have a large group of multi-language students. We have a large group of special ed students. We have a large group of diversity in our financial scenarios across the board, academic, linguistically, all of our goals. And I look forward to see how you're going to be able to help bring all of that, even a step further than we've been able to do. So thank you very much.
Any other comments, questions? No? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Oh, never mind.
Peggy Falusis from Medford. I was just wondering, traditionally, I thought that this was the meeting at which you would introduce the potential candidates for the upcoming school year. Is that something that's done tonight?
No, that's done at the budget hearing.
At the budget hearing?
Yes, which is May 7th.
Okay, but they all had to have their petitions in
All
as
the
of
petitions had to
today's?
be in today.
So they were finalized, whoever it is had to have them in today?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we're going to move on to board comments. Trustee Kuban?
Okay, I want to start by saying congratulations to all the employees of the month. I want to thank Mr. Mazie, who always makes complicated financial information easy for me to grasp, so thank you so much. And I want to welcome Dr. Harrigan. This process it's been truly a privilege to have been able to be a part of this process of selecting our next superintendent. I want to really thank the other trustees. I've sat in these seats far longer than I've sat in this one, and it can be very nerve-wracking as a parent, just hoping that decisions are made with our kids, our staff, taxpayers in mind. And it was just an incredible opportunity to go through this process with all of you, just seeing how dedicated we really all were in making sure we selected the right candidate. We had just a ton of meetings and conversations, and everyone else doesn't really get to see that. But I can assure you that we worked incredibly hard, and we're just very excited, for this next chapter. So I just wanted to thank everybody here, and yeah, have a great afternoon.
I'm going to reiterate many of the things Trustee Kuban said. Now I know what it's like being the second person, not the first person. It takes all my words. So, first off, I'd like to thank our employees of the month. Your contributions, everything that you do for our district is noticed, so thank you. Mr. Mazie, thank you for your contribution and presentation tonight. It shows your diligence and the follow-through, which is very important, I think, for us to see. And lastly, I think I'd like to, of course, congratulate Dr. Harrigan. We look forward to working with you and, seeing all you can do for our community in the future. And like Trustee Koopman said, this was a process. It was a very interesting process. It was rewarding, I found. It was very thorough. I just want the community to understand that too. And we worked our hardest to make sure we included all the stakeholders, and when we did hear the voice of the community. So everybody that participated as well, thank you very much for your input, and we did hear it and listen to it. So thank you.
Okay. So ditto to everything they said, and I just wanted to welcome you, and we look forward to working with you, Dr. Harrigan. I want to say a special thanks to all of our staff for all the hard work that they do behind the scenes, day to day. To have all 11 of our schools off the New York State list is nothing short of amazing, and a long time coming. To have the reports from Mr. Mazie regarding the bond projects and the proposed budget proposals coming to us when other districts are struggling is a testament to every department's fiscal responsibility. And we truly think out of the box here at PatMed, and we really know how to get the most for our taxpayers' dollars, which is amazing, whether it be our own building and grounds person building classrooms and painting and saving that money, or the way we save money to have a full building being built without taking out a bond for, is really truly amazing when you watch the news and you see where other people are these days. And then I'm just looking forward to all the year-end concerts, sports activities, the election, the budget, and this time of year flies by in the blink of an eye, and before we know it, it'll be summer, so I know, but that is all I have to say. You're up.
Thank you, Dr. Harrigan. We're so happy to have you on board. We really are. Lori, we're going to miss you. We'll say more another time, but thank you for all of your years of service. I'm not going to go into all of that other stuff, but this search process was comprehensive and months long, and the quality of the candidates that we got to meet was fantastic. I mean, there was super high quality candidates, and we asked to see a wide, all the diversity, and that's what the search firm gave us. And we are so thrilled to have made the decision that we made. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Mazie, thank you very much for your work on all of that budget stuff and making it make sense to people who don't do numbers. And I wanted to remind everybody that there is a tool on the website that Mr. Mazie invented that you can plug in your address, and it'll tell you what your taxes will do based on the budget when it passes. Thank you very much. May-Sember is about to hit. Deep breaths, nice and slow. Breathe. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to just say ditto to pretty much what everybody said. Welcome, Dr. Harrigan. We're very excited to have you here. Lori, we still have 2 months till we can say goodbye, so we're going to save that. And just have a great night, everybody.
Thanks. Yes, congratulations to all the employees. I want to say congratulations to all the students, too. Last week seemed a lot for all the honor societies that they all got inducted for all their hard work. And then also to the Hall of Fame that they inducted a lot of people on Friday night, which was a great night. congratulations to Dr. Harrigan. We look forward to working with you, and I agree it was a very extensive period that I think we've all bonded and hung out late nights and had deep conversations. And
Friday nights.
we did Fridays and Saturdays, yes. So yeah, we did that, deep conversations, and it was very insightful to listen to everyone and work together. And thank you to everyone for your hard work and dedication. It shows by getting us off this list that we've been working very hard for, and it was awesome to see that in the paper that we weren't named. And then thank you to Mr. Mazie and your team. And it will be ready for graduation. Graduation will be here, which I'm not ready for, but it will be here before we know it. But the graduation will be here on our stage, and it will look awesome with all our new bleachers and the press box up there. So can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned at 8:26. Thank you everyone for coming.